and it is with great pleasure that I welcome you all to the 11th annual general meeting of our company. I wish to inform you that this annual general meeting is being held virtually, further to the provisions of Business Facilitation Miscellaneous Provisions Act, which amended the provisions of Section 2402 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act, to enable public companies to hold general meetings electronically. This AGM is being streamed live to our shareholders, regulators, and other stakeholders. Before the business of the day, will a shareholder please lead us in a short opening prayer? Dr. Ali, one of our directors.
Shall we pray, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Our Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, this morning for giving us grace to join together as a family and for what you are doing in this, our company, First Bank Nigerian Holding Company. We thank you for all the directors, the management, the shareholders. As we are progressing into these activities, we pray that your goodness will go with us in all our deliberations today. Father, we pray that you will take absolute control and decisions to make this company move forward. You will direct us to take it. At the end, O Lord, your name alone shall be glorified. Thank you, our blessed Redeemer. For in Jesus' precious name we prayed.
Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Akindaro. Thank you very much. I would like to report that since the last annual general meeting, some changes have taken place on the board of our company as follows. Appointment to the board. Subject to approval of this meeting, the board on August 16, 2022, appointed Mr. Oyewale Aribi as an executive director. Finance investment has been approved by the Central Bank of Nigeria. In addition, the board on July 9, 2023, appointed Mr. Femi Otediola as an executive director, subject to the approval of Central Bank of Nigeria. Their profiles are contained in the annual report. Please join me in welcoming them to the board. I look forward to working with them to deliver on the mandate and exceed expectations of our esteemed shareholders. Following this appointment, the board is currently composed of 12 directors, comprising 7 independent non-executive directors, 3 non-executive directors, and 2 executive directors, one of whom is also the group managing director. I confirm that the register of directors shareholder is available for inspection by members in compliance with the provisions of Section 318 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020. Before moving to the formal aspect of the meeting, I'd like to commence proceedings at this meeting by introducing our directors, secretary, advisors, and representatives of regulatory authorities first. I'll start with directors present at this meeting. On my right is the GMD, Mr. Namamdi Okonkwo. And on my left, immediate left, is Dr. Adeshola Adedotum. I also have the ED, Mr. Wale Aribi, and then the company secretary, Mr. Wale Arugundadi. The following directors are also joining the meeting virtually. Dr. Alimi Abdul Razak, Dr. Peter Aliogo, Mrs. Kofo Deshoku, Dr. Abiodun Fatadi, Mr. Khalifa Imam, Mr. Ahmed Modibo, Mr. Julius Omodayo What figure? I also want to introduce the registrars, Maritime Registrars and Private Services Limited, the representatives of the auditor, Mrs. KPMG Professional Services, external consultants to the board appraiser, Mrs. PricewaterhouseCoopers, the representatives of the Securities and Exchange Commission, the Central Bank of Nigeria, Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation, and the legal advisor to the AGM, Mrs. Banwo Ugodalo. The Corporate Affairs Commission and Nigeria Exchange Limited are also online. I also like to introduce the chairman of the Audit Committee, Dr. Farouk Umar, and other shareholder representatives, Mr. Kashima Tayo and Mr. Vitalis Ekwem, all of whom are online. And I call upon the acting company secretary to read the notice convening the meeting. Acting company secretary.
Thank you, Chairman.
To the notice of annual general meeting of FBNHoldings scheduled to hold virtually via the link on Tuesday, August 15, 2023 at 10 a.m. The agenda for the business is as follows. Ordinary business. 1, to receive the audited accounts for the financial year ended December 31, 2022, together with the reports of the directors, auditor, board appraisers, and audit committee thereon. 2, to declare a dividend. 3, to elect the following directors. A, Mr. Samson Oyewale Aribi as an executive director. B, Mr. Olufemi Otedola CON as a non-executive director. 4, to authorize the directors to fix the remuneration of the auditor. 5, to disclose the remuneration of managers of the company. 6, to elect members of the audit committee. We now have a special business. 7, to consider and if thought fit, pass the following as an ordinary resolution. That the director's fees for the financial year ending December 31, 2023, and for succeeding years until reviewed by the AGM, be and is hereby fixed at 50 million only for each director and 63.7 million for the board chairman. 8, to consider and if thought fit, pass the following as ordinary resolutions. A, that the company's issued share capital be and is hereby increased from 17 billion 947 million 646,396 naira, made up of 35 billion 895 million 292,792 ordinary shares of 50 kobo each to 32 billion 434 million 557,995 naira by the creation and addition of up to 8 billion 973 million 823,198 ordinary shares of 50 kobo each. B, that there shall be a capital raise of up to 150 billion. The capital raise transaction shall be by way of a rights issue on such terms and conditions and on such dates as may be determined by the directors, subject to obtaining the approvals of the relevant regulatory authorities. C, that the rights issue referred to in Resolution B above may be underwritten on such terms as may be determined by the directors, subject to obtaining the approvals of the relevant regulatory authorities. D, that any shares not taken up by existing shareholders within the period stipulated under the rights issue may be offered for sale to interested shareholders of the company on such terms and conditions as may be determined by the directors, subject to obtaining the approvals of relevant regulatory authorities. E, that the directors be and are hereby authorized to appoint such professional parties and advisors and to perform all such other acts and do all such other things as may be necessary to give effect to the above resolutions, including, without limitation, complying with the directives of any regulatory authority. 9, to consider and if thought fit, pass the following as a special resolution. That clause 6 of the Memorandum of Association of the company be and is hereby amended to reflect the new issued share capital of 22,434,557,995 naira by the creation and addition of up to 8,973,823,198 ordinary shares of 50 kobo each. Notes. Number 1, proxy. A member entitled to attend and vote at the AGM is entitled to appoint a proxy to attend and vote in his stead. A proxy need not also be a member. A proxy form is attached to the annual report. All instruments of proxy must be stamped at the stamp duty office and deposited at the registered office of the company or the office of the registrars, Maritime Registrars and Probate Services Limited, 213 Abamakoli Way, Adekunle, Yaba, Lagos, not later than 48 hours before the time for holding the meeting. Note, all instruments of proxy shall be stamped at the company's expense. 2, virtual meeting link. Further to the signing into law of the Business Facilitation Miscellaneous Provisions Act, which allows public companies to hold meetings electronically. This AGM will be held virtually. The virtual meeting link for the AGM is World Wide Web, FBNHoldings.com, AGM-2023-live. The virtual meeting link will also be available on the company's website at World Wide Web, FBNHoldings.com, and on the registrar's website at World Wide Web, meristemng.com. 3, dividend. If the proposed dividend recommended by the directors is approved by members at the AGM, the dividend will be payable on August 16, 2023, to members whose names appear in the register of members at the close of business on August 8, 2023. Shareholders who have completed the e-dividend mandate forms will receive a direct credit of the dividend into their bank accounts. 4, closure of register of members. In accordance with Section 114 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, please note that the register of members and transfer books of the company will be closed from August 9 to August 10, 2023, both dates inclusive, to enable the registrars to update his records in preparation for the payment of dividend. 5, e-dividend mandate. Shareholders are kindly requested to update their records and advise Meristem Registrars and Probate Services Limited of their updated records and relevant bank accounts for payment of their dividends. Detachable forms in respect of mandate for e-dividend payment and shareholder data updates are attached to the annual report for convenience. The forms can also be downloaded from the company's website at FBNHoldings.com or from registrars of Meristem Registrars and Probate Services Limited's website at meristemng.com. The duly completed form should be delivered to Meristem Registrars and Probate Services Limited at 213 Abamakoli Way, Adekunle, Yaba, Lagos, Nigeria. 6. Unclaimed dividend warrants. Shareholders are hereby informed that some dividend warrants have been returned to the registrars as unclaimed, while some have been presented for payment, while some have neither been presented for payment nor the registrars for revalidation. Affected members are, by this notice, advised to contact the registrars, Meristem Registrars and Probate Services Limited, 213 Abamakoli Way, Adekunle, Yaba, Lagos, Nigeria. 7. Statutory Audit Committee. In accordance with Section 404, subsection 6 of CAMA, a shareholder may nominate another shareholder for appointment to the Audit Committee. Such nomination should be in writing and must reach the Company Secretary not less than 21 days before the AGM. The CAMA Code of Corporate Governance of the Financial Reporting Council, Security and Exchange Commission, and Central Bank of Nigeria, respectively, indicate that some of the members of the Audit Committee should have basic financial literacy and be knowledgeable in internal control processes. In view of the above, we therefore request that nominations be accompanied by a copy of the nominee's curriculum vitae. The CV of eligible candidates will be posted on the company's website before the date of the meeting. 8. Election of directors. A. Mr. Samson Oyewale Areibi was appointed as Executive Director of Finance, Investment Management, and Oversight of the company on August 16, 2022. His appointment was approved by the CBN on October 21, 2022. It will be presented for shareholders' approval at the 11th Annual General Meeting. B. Mr. Olufemi Otedola CON was appointed as a non-executive director on July 9, 2023, subject to the approval of the CBN. It will be presented for shareholders' approval at the 11th Annual General Meeting. 9. Right of shareholders to ask questions. Pursuant to Rule 19.12, subsection C of the Nigerian Exchange Limited Rulebook 2015, please note that it is the right of every shareholder to ask questions, not only at the meeting, but also in writing prior to the meeting. We urge that such questions be submitted to the Company Secretariat not later than 2 weeks before the date of the meeting. By order of the Board, Adewale Arogundade, Acting Company Secretary. Dated the 19th day of July, 2023. Thank you.
Thank you, the Acting Company Secretary. I'll now proceed to read out the meeting protocol. Shareholders should note that they'll be muted for the duration of this meeting, except where permission has been granted to speak. You may request permission to speak during the question and answer session by clicking the red hand icon on the online platform. Please state your name once you have been called upon to speak. Thank you for your attention. In view of the virtual mode of this meeting, some shareholders have elected to participate by proxy. We now invite the registrars to provide the proxy report. Registrars.
Distinguished shareholders, we Meristem registrars do confirm that as at the regulatory date, we received 1,121 proxies representing 12,000,000 712,650,981 shares, which makes up 35.38 of the issued share capital of the company. Thank you.
Thank you, registrars. I now call upon the representative of the auditors, Mrs. KPMG Professional Services, to read the auditor's report, which has been circulated to members, together with accounts for the year ended December 31st, 2022. The auditors.
Good morning, the chairman, the directors and shareholders of FBNHoldings Plc. My name is Kabiru Okonola, representing KPMG Professional Services. Please confirm that you can hear me, and I'll present the auditor's report.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. So the auditor's report is shared on the screen, and may I request your permission to present an abridged version of the report, sir.
Please go ahead.
Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. To the shareholders of FBNHoldings Plc, report on the audit of the separate and consolidated financial statement. Our opinion: we've audited the separate and consolidated financial statements of FBNHoldings Plc, the company, and its subsidiaries, together the group, which comprise the separate and consolidated statements of financial position as at 31st December 2022, the separate and consolidated statement of profit or loss, the separate and consolidated statement of other comprehensive income, the separate and consolidated statement of changes in equity, the separate and consolidated statement of cash flow for the year that ended, and notes, prices, significant accounting policies, and other expenditure information. In our opinion, the accompanying consolidated and separate financial statements give a true and fair view of the separate and consolidated financial position of the company and its subsidiary as at 31st December 2022, and of its financial performance and cash flow for the year then ended, in accordance with the International Financial Reporting Standards as issued by the International Accounting Standards Board, and in a manner required by the Companies and Allied Matters Act of Nigeria 2020, the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria Act 2011, the Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act 2020, and relevant Central Bank of Nigeria guidelines and circulars. The basis of our opinion: we conducted our audit in accordance with international standards on audit. Our responsibilities under those standards are described in the auditor's responsibility for the audit of the financial statement section of it. We're independent of the group and company in accordance with the International Ethics Standards Board for Accountants, the IASBA Code, together with the ethical requirements that are relevant to audit of the financial statement in Nigeria, and we have fulfilled our other ethical responsibilities in accordance with this requirement and the IASB Code. We believe that the evidence that we have obtained is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our opinion. Key audit matters. Key audit matters are those matters that, in our professional judgment, were of most significance in our audit of the financial statement for the current year. These matters were addressed in the context of our audit of the financial statement as a whole and informing our opinion thereon, and we do not provide a separate opinion on these matters. The key audit matters identified for the year on the financial statement and the audit of the financial statement is summarized below. The expected credit loss allowance on loans and advances to customers. The expected credit on loans and customers.
Again, the weather is coming up, whatever.
is considered to be of most significance in the audit due to the level of subjectivity inherent in estimating the key assumptions that impact the recoverability of loan balances in arriving at the level of impairment allowance required. The group uses an expected credit loss model to determine the impairment level for loans and advances to customers. The determination of the impairment allowance using the expected credit loss is inherently a significant area for the group and requires application of certain judgments, assumptions, and estimates of financial indices. These indices are estimated from historical financial data obtained within and outside the group. The group's expected credit loss, as indicated in Note 5A, includes certain judgments and assumptions in determining the impairment allowance for loans and advances, comprising the determination of default, assessment of significant increase in credit risk, incorporation of forward-looking information based on economic scenario within the model, determination of 12 months and lifetime probability of default, the determination of exposure at default based on discounted future cash flow at the reporting date, and the rate of recovery on loans that are past due and in default. The credit conversion factor applied in modeling the exposure at default for undrawn commitment, including the estimation of loss given default based on collateral values and other cash flows. With your permission, I will request to take the procedures that we have performed as read. So, the next part of the report is on other information included in financial statements. With your permission, I would also request that that should be taken as read. We also have the responsibilities of directors and auditors with respect to the financial statements. I would also request that to be taken as read. The next part of our report is on report on other legal and regulatory requirements. Specifically with respect to the compliance with the requirements of Schedule 5 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020. I will report that we have obtained all the information and explanation which, to the best of our knowledge and belief, were necessary for the purpose of our audit. And in our opinion, for purpose of accounts have been kept by the company so far as appears from examination of those books. 3, the company statement of financial position and statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income are in agreement with the books of accounts. Secondly, with respect to the compliance with Section 26(3) of the Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act 2020 and Central Bank of Nigeria Circular BSD-1/2004, I will report that the group paid penalties in respect of contravention of the Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act 2020 during the year ended 31st December 2022. The details of the penalties paid are disclosed in Note 46 to the financial statement. And second, the related party transactions and balances are disclosed in Note 44.1 to the financial statement in compliance with the Central Bank of Nigeria Circular BSD-1/2004. Signed by me, Kabir Okunlola, forehand on behalf of KPMG Professional Services on the 2nd of June 2023. Thank you very much, Chairman.
Thank you very much, Mr. KPMG Professional Services, for that report. I also call on the chairman of the audit committee, Dr. Farouk Umar, to read the committee's report already circulated. It's on page 122 of the annual report and accounts, which has been circulated to members. Dr. Farouk Umar.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Permit me to continue. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Permit me to continue on the existing protocol. My name is Fuad Farouk. I'm here to present the report of the Audit Committee. In compliance with Section 404 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, we hereby reviewed the audit report for the year ended 31st December 2022 and hereby states as follows. The scope and planning of the audit were adequate in our opinion. The accounting and reporting policies of the company conform to statutory requirements and agreed ethical practices. The internal control was being constantly and effectively monitored. The external auditor's management report received satisfactory response from management. The committee reviewed the audit report on the insider related party transaction and is satisfied with the status as required by the Central Bank of Nigeria. Dated 19th April 2023, signed by me, Fuad Farouk Umar, Chairman Audit Committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman of the Audit Committee. Lastly, I will call on Mrs. PricewaterhouseCoopers, who are consultants to the Board Appraisal and Corporate Governance Services, to present their reports for the year 2022. The reports are on pages 103 and 104 of the annual report and accounts, which has also been circulated to members. Mrs. PricewaterhouseCoopers, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Board of Directors, shareholders, and other attendees. My name is Worola Olofeko, representing PricewaterhouseCoopers. I present to you our report on the outcome of the board evaluation exercise for the year ended 31 December 2022. We're going to carry out an evaluation of the performance of the Board of Directors of FBNHoldings as required by the relevant principles of the Nigerian Code of Corporate Governance, the relevant section of the CBN Code of Corporate Governance for banks and discount houses, and the SEC Corporate Governance Guidelines for the year then ended. Our responsibility was to reach a conclusion on the board's performance based on work carried out within the scope of our engagement as contained in our engagement letter dated 28 February 2023. In carrying out the evaluation, we have relied on representations made by members of the board and on the documents provided for our review. The board has complied significantly with the principles set forth in the CBN Code, the NCCG, and the SCGG. Areas of compliance include the board's leadership in overseeing the ethical tone at the top of the group and contributions of the directors to the execution of the group's strategy. Details of our audit findings are contained in our report. We also facilitated a self and peer assessment of each director's performance in the year under review. This assessment covered the director's time commitment to the business of the company, commitment to continuous learning and development, and a self and peer assessment. Each individual director's assessment report was prepared and made available to them respectively, while a consolidated one of all directors was submitted to the board chairman. Yours faithfully for PricewaterhouseCoopers, signed by Femi Oshinobi on the 24th of April 2023. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mrs. PricewaterhouseCoopers, for that report. The next item to be read is the chairman's statement, which is on page 22 of the annual report and accounts. In view of the need for brevity in this meeting.
Taken as read. Taken as read, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Distinguished shareholder, thank you very much. Kindly be informed that in exercise of the powers conferred on me by virtue of section 2481A of CAMA, I hereby call on polls on items 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, and 9 on the agenda. Thus, voting for these resolutions will be taken electronically. And the resolutions of these items 1 to 8 will be proposed as ordinary resolutions, a majority representing 50.1% of the total votes cast by the shareholders present and voting either in person or by proxy at this meeting is required for each resolution to be approved. In addition, the The resolution on item 9 will be proposed as a special resolution, and 75% of the total votes cast by the shareholders present and voting, either in person or by proxy, is required for the resolution to be approved. And now come to the first item on the agenda, which is to receive the audited financial statements of the company for the year ended December 31st, 2022, and the reports of the directors, auditors, external consultants on the board are present and audit committee thereon. The reports and accounts have been circulated to all members in compliance with statutory requirements, and I hereby move that the reports of directors, auditor, external consultants on the board are present and audit committee, together with the audited accounts for the financial year ended December 31st, 2022, now submitted to this meeting, be and are hereby received. Can a shareholder please second the motion?
I hereby second the motion. Include the Moses.
Thank you very much. I now call for comments from members. Please indicate your intention to ask questions or to comment by clicking the raise hand icon on the online platform. Or by calling to be identified.
Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
My name is Mrs. Bisi Bakari. I'm a shareholder of FBNHoldings Plc. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Board of Directors, management and staff of our company, and my co-shareholders that are joining online with me. Good morning. First and foremost, Mr. Chairman, I want to congratulate the entire board, management and staff of FBNHoldings Plc for celebrating another successful year. Secondly, Mr. Chairman, we appreciate the dividend of 50 kobo, but we hope it could be better in the coming years by God's grace. Also, I want to use this opportunity to welcome the new directors of our company, the two directors, especially my amiable dear brother, Mr. Femi Otedola, into our board, which I believe is going to add more value and brings his wealth of experience to move our company forward. Mr. Chairman, on that note, we as a shareholders, we are also appealing to the entire board and management of FBNHoldings Plc to settle whatsoever is the dispute between the parties amicably on the round tables in the interest of the bank and all the stakeholders. Having said that, Mr. Chairman, I want the board of FBNHoldings Plc to look into issue of paying interim dividend very soon, no matter how small. Please, I want this board to look at it because that will also boost the image of our bank or of our company. Again, on page 43, Mr. Chairman, page 43, looking at the gender diversity across the board and management, Mr. Chairman, I can see that a lot needs to be done to ensure gender balancing in our organization. Mr. Chairman, we would like to have assurances that more women will be promoted and empowered to improve this ratio by our next annual general meeting, Mr. Chairman. Ratio 61 to 39, this is unacceptable. I want the board to look at it on the gender balance. Furthermore, Mr. Chairman, the bank has improved improved in its technology, IT infrastructure, and our non-performing loans ratio. This is very good. But Mr. Chairman, I noticed that sometimes customers still experience challenges with some of their platforms in carrying out transactions. On that note, Mr. Chairman, this could negatively impact our business and loss of customers. I would really like the bank to pay a lot of attention to this to ensure First Bank sustains its leadership in the innovation and technology space. Mr. Chairman, we have seen an improvement in the performance of the group in recent times and will be very much interested in seeing sustainable growth going forward. But Mr. Chairman, in view of this, could you please tell us the succession plan in place across FBN group? On our notice of the meeting page, where we have special resolution, Mr. Chairman, I want to really commend the board for their proactiveness in considering capital raising for our bank. This is a confirmation of the market sentiments of the bank's shares in the capital market, which rose from the beginning of this year from 7 naira to 19 naira 80 kobo. But Mr. Chairman, can you please explain the purpose and timing of the capital raising? Page 128. Page 128.
Well, the picture not showing.
Thank you very much, Mrs.
Growth
Bakari.
in the gross earnings. Growth in the gross earnings by 6.3% to 805 billion. Mr. Chairman, this is the highest gross earnings revenue of our bank in the last 10 years. And this was driven by robust experience activities and prudent financial management and strategic investment. This is highly commendable, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I want to ask that with the review of higher interest by CBN Monetary Policy Committee and reduction in the CRR, what is our expectation of growth and our core income? Lastly, I want to congratulate our company for several awards we received during the year under review. On that note, I want to give other shareholders opportunity to ask their question. Once again, thank you very much for recognizing me, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Bakari, for that list of observations and questions that you raised. And I'm sure there will be response. There will be response to the questions you have asked.
Good morning.
But
Mr.
meanwhile,
Chairman,
let me
good
allow
morning. Good morning.
Mr.
Chairman, good morning.
To speak.
Mr. Chairman, good morning.
Okay, who is speaking?
Mr. Patrick Ajudua.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Patrick Ajudua on the line, sir.
Go ahead,
Mr. Patrick. I want to commend the chairman, the group managing director under the watch of Mr. Okonkwo, and the managing director, Dr. Adeshola, for a good and well thought out financial performance during the year. I will not leave out the company secretariat led by Mr. Arogun that day for a wonderful work done and for a good coordinating efforts. I want to commend the bank financial result, which was achieved despite the difficult, challenging business environment, political uncertainties, the boardroom distraction, and also the continuous increasing inflationary pressure. We saw the growth in the gross earning by about 6.3% to 805 billion due to strong net interest income. The net interest income increased on the back of a 31.5% growth in loans and advances to customers. We have also seen the capital appreciation of First Bank share, which rose significantly during the year, is a testament to the dynamic leadership quality of the group managing director and the managing director of the bank and their team, and the display of resilience and ability to adapt to the changing economic landscape. Under their watch, Mr. Chairman, we have seen the customer growth in account of First Bank from 36 million to 41 million. We have seen the growth in the ATM to 17,426. The bank itself have over 80% of the banking transaction via digital channel among all banks, and also control 20% market share. This is a tremendous achievement, and we are very proud of the bank. On page 36, Mr. Chairman, we've seen the drop in the non-performing loan from 6.1% to 4.3%. This indicates the bank effort to manage credit risk and enhance the quality of its loan portfolio. The positive financial performance indicates the bank's commitment to a sound risk and management practices and effort to strengthen the balance sheet. On page 25, Mr. Chairman, that is where we have your statement. You talk about the anticipatory regulatory changes expected from the new government. My question to you is, how do you hope to stimulate growth, strengthen, and take full advantage of your portfolio businesses, the digital innovation brand quality, and geographical footprint? On page 28, Mr. Chairman, that is on the GMD statement. It is of concern that international subsidiaries' contribution grew by just only about 5%, from 25% to 30%. And my question is, how do you hope to optimize our operation, ensure economies of scale, and extract value for effective contribution of all these subsidiaries to the bottom line? On page 271, I want to commend the dividend payment of 50 kobo from as low as 35 kobo per share to shareholders. Mr. Chairman, when you look at the account, we have an earning per share of 3.74. We know that this is very low, but we want an assurance from you, sir, that going forward, there will be an improved dividend payment to shareholders, because we have beared the brunt over time. And with this, we'll be able to have an assurance to
Thank you, Mr. Patrick.
Okay,
thank you very much. We have heard you.
Matthew Akinlade, please.
Loud and clear.
Matthew Akinlade.
Dr. Farouk Kumar. Dr. Farouk Kumar.
Hello, Chairman.
Yes, Dr.
Hello,
Farouk,
Chairman. Yeah, thank you for giving me the opportunity. My name is Dr. Goni Farouk Umar, President, Association for the Advancement of the Rights of Nigerian Shareholders. Mr. Chairman, I want to join my colleagues in thanking the board and management and staff of FBN Holdings for the performance, the results we have seen, the reduction in the NPL, and the half-year result. The half-year result is almost the whole profit being made for last year. I commend the GMD and the MD and all the directors. Mr. Chairman, this meeting is being conducted virtually. I commend you for that, but I hope next year, Mr. Chairman, we should have a breed, partly physical and partly virtual. Then,
You have muted yourself, Dr. Farouk. Oh, you have lost yourself.
Chairman, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. We can hear you.
Okay, yeah. The dividend you have paid of 50 kobo, Mr. Chairman, is commendable. But since we are going to raise funds of close to 150 billion, should we expect higher dividend next year? This is my next point. Then, Mr. Chairman, I also want to say that I'm happy with the two people you are bringing on board. Mr. Otedola is a household name in this country, not only in Nigeria, Mr. Chairman, even abroad. He has been in business for a long time. He has been successful, and we believe he's going to add value to our business. As far as I know, he is the closest person to Alhaji Aliko Dangote. And if you look at the businesses of Alhaji Dangote, no any other individual in this country has such investment in the capital market like Alhaji Aliko. So I'm appealing to Otedola to ensure that the refinery business, the proceeds, all the money and the businesses of Dangote are brought to our bank so that it will increase our profitability. Mr. Chairman, we also call on you to use your good office to ensure that you bring the major shareholders together and ensure that we don't have any rowdiness. We shareholders are very, very unhappy with the kind of thuggery we saw. Somebody came and brought thugs to First Bank to protest. People should have a diplomatic way of making their views known. The press is there, the court is there, and to us, if anybody will bring people to demonstrate in front of our head office, it will send wrong signal to our to the companies that are rating us. It will send wrong signals to our depositors, and it will send wrong signals to regulators and shareholders. We don't believe that a reasonable and responsible shareholder will start to do things like that. Much as we do not support people going to court, we believe that what was done was not good for the image of our bank. And we looked at the pictures. Only one person we could identify as a shareholder. I think the bank should now investigate. And if they discover that the people who came to demonstrate in front of our head office are not shareholders, we should take illegal action. Mr. Chairman, you are being too soft on certain issues. You should not allow anybody to discredit our bank. The person who led, how many shares does he have? And you are not talking, you are not protecting us against such thuggery, Mr. Chairman. I think, Mr. Chairman, we need to hear, and you did not even react. Nothing from the company secretary, nothing from the bank. We are concerned. This bank, Mr. Chairman, has existed more than 100 years. Otedola or Obatideko, they will go and leave this bank. This bank will outlive all of us. So we should make sure, Mr. Chairman, that we don't do anything that will bring our investment down. We have people who are working for us. That is where they are earning their living. We should not do anything to jeopardize a bank that our forefathers established. Our fathers benefited. We are benefiting, and we want our children to benefit from the establishment of this bank. Mr. Chairman, I also want to say that the capital raising we are doing, people should know that the bank should be commended for this. If you look at our competition, among the top banks, we have the least capital. So I commend you for coming to raise money, and we support the resolutions and we will vote for them. And Mr. Chairman, again, we keep saying People have done their own part. They have left the bank. They should leave this bank in peace, not in pieces. I mean, we saw what happened. We saw all the what happened during the time of the last board, and we do not want to raise issues on the way they conducted the bank. You know, we have accepted what they did. We have commended them. They have gone. So they should leave us and they should leave this bank in peace. Mr. Chairman, regarding unclaimed dividend, the registrars are not doing well. We need to hear from the registrars from our last AGM to this AGM. How much have they disbursed to shareholders? And Mr. Chairman, we should make this a routine procedure. For every AGM, the registrars must tell us how much they have disbursed, how much unclaimed dividend we have, and what effort have they put to pay shareholders. We, in the past, First Bank had arranged shareholders interactive sessions where the registrars, when it was under First Bank, they came to some places in Nigeria. They interacted with shareholders, and shareholders got their dividends instantly. Mr. Chairman, Meristem should do this. And if they don't do this, in fact, we will now approach SEC to ensure that they make it mandatory for registrars to be briefing us at the AGM. And Mr. Chairman, the former president has signed a bill, Unclaimed Funds Trust Fund. I'm calling on the present president of the Federation to ensure that this fund, trust fund, takes off, because we registrars are supposed to transfer our money to the fund, and the fund is going to pay us with interest. So, Mr. Chairman, I think since we have representative of SEC here, we are calling on them to ensure that this bill that has been signed by the president is being implemented. Mr. Chairman, again, I read in Business Day, somebody saying that the directors who were appointed by CBN are not shareholders. But look at the result now. The shareholders who were on the board, what did they do for us? Now look at us, look at the profit we have made over 500 times. It's the result we are after. And Mr. Chairman, we should have more independent directors on this board. And again, I'm talking to the representative of SEC. Once somebody has been removed from a board, Mr. Chairman, CBN must ensure that they force the person to divest his shares, because we don't want what is happening in First Bank now to happen in other banks. They should be made to divest. This is what is being done abroad. Secondly, they should not have any representation on the board, because they were removed. Anybody you remove, there must be a reason for his removal. And now if you allow him to continue buying shares of the company or bringing representatives, we are going back to square one. Mr. Chairman, on this note, I want to end my speech by commending you, commending the directors, welcoming the directors, especially Otedola, who is, again, we believe is going to, in fact, Mr. Chairman, I believe that shareholders will have nothing less than ₦1 next year, because he has done it for us in the companies. Gregu, we have seen what has happened. 40 Oil, we have seen what happened regarding our dividend. AP, we have seen it. And I'm happy that you are bringing somebody from within as our executive director. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I pray God will continue to guide us. Anybody who is going to destroy or to bring problem to our bank, or may God not allow him to succeed. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Please, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. I think that's all we can take on this matter. All the comments have been heard. The questions have also been noted as related to the registrars. I'm sure the registrars have heard you. The CBN has also heard you regarding your comment on shareholding. And those that will be responded to by the GMD and the MD of First Bank. I'm sure they have heard you on, and that applies to the questions earlier asked by
Mr. Chairman.
Mrs. Bakare and
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
No, sorry,
Mr.
because of time,
What?
that's all we can.
No, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, you are planning to take more questions, Mr. Chairman.
I'm sorry, we don't have the time for that. I'll call on the GMD to respond to the questions asked. GMD, please.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to thank our shareholders for their kind words. We've listened to you and we take your feedback seriously. What I will do now is run through the questions, all of them one by one. On the issue of dividend, if you look at our track record, we've been increasing the dividend we pay over the years. And if you try to correlate that with performance, as we achieve better performance, which you're already seeing now, and even in the second first half of this year, that means we'll be in a position to pay more, better dividend. On gender balance is something we take seriously in the bank. At the board level, we are already purposefully making sure that as people rotate out of the board, use that as an opportunity to meet the 35% affirmative action. So it's something we're also taking very seriously. On customer service, this is a challenge we must admit for every service-related business, and we're no exception. However, I want to assure you that this is, we have customer service improvement projects going on currently, especially in this digital age. First Bank probably processes more digital transactions than any other bank in this country today. And we are very strong on innovation, all geared towards improving customer service. If you look at our mobile app, for instance, First Mobile, we recently launched the next mobile app we call Lead. That's based on feedback we got from our customers, and it's making our digital transactions easier now. Succession plan. Clearly, I assure you we have a robust succession plan, both at the HoldCo and our operating companies. Thank you for commending us on our intention to raise capital. Maybe I should also just speak to this once and for all, because different people, while some people are commending us for our plans to raise capital, some others are wondering why we're raising capital. Let me make it clear that we have proposed to make our institution future-proof. What do I mean? We're operating in the VUCA environment. You know, all businesses are vulnerable to changes, and we must build a strong capital base so that our future as our going concern will not be threatened. Specifically, we're going to be we need more capital to take advantage of attractive business opportunities, which of course will translate to profit. And we also have to be ready for Basel III, which will kick in any moment from now. Basel III pilot phase has been on for a while now. So when Basel III is implemented, you don't want your bank to be running helter-skelter for capital. So we're being proactive. We also need to strengthen our balance sheet for growth. Without capital, you can't take advantage of other capital consuming activities that translate to superior profit. So we want to make it clear that it is in the interest of all shareholders that your bank is fortified in terms of capital. Okay, I'll then go to the issue of online meeting. Thank you, Dr. Farouk. We'll be looking at your advice about hybrid next time. Positions, okay. I think I think that's basically it. The key things that we spoke about. Okay, good. Ajudo spoke about our foreign subsidiaries contributing only 25 to 30%. I can call that a good problem. What do I mean? All our foreign subsidiaries, from FBN UK to the African subsidiaries, are actually performing above budget, most of them as we speak. But what happened last year was like domino effect, where you have the flagship of the group, the First Bank of Nigeria, delivering more superior, faster growth in terms of profitability. If you take its size and compare with the size of those African subsidiaries or FBN UK, you see that while those ones are growing, the flagship grew at a faster rate. And so that's what, in terms of percentage, you think they are not growing like they should. But the simple reason is that the flagship is growing at a faster rate. And so if you put all those subsidiaries together and compare them with First Bank Nigeria, the flagship company, you see that those percentages don't scare us at all, so long as we're sure that those subsidiaries will continue to maintain the growth trajectory that we're currently seeing. So on that note, I'll call on, okay, I was going to call on my colleague who runs the flagship company, and he has just indicated to me that I have spoken his mind. So I then hand back to the chairman, Mr. Chairman, sir.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, observation. Mr. Chairman,
observation. Since we have had
Mr. Chairman, observation.
All the questions and the responses and
Mr.
the
Chairman, observation.
From shareholders, I will now put the motion to the meeting. The voting will be done electronically, and the results will be projected on the screen for shareholders and those being online to see. I want to invite the registrars to explain the e-voting procedure and how that works.
Observation.
The registrars, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, distinguished shareholders. Before now, you would have received a notice through which you would have registered to attend and vote at this meeting. When the resolutions are called up, observation. When the resolutions are called up, you will see how you voted earlier displayed on the screen.
Mr. Chairman,
you will have time during that period to either change your voting pattern or leave as earlier voted. Once the voting session has ended, you will not be able to change your vote. Kindly ensure that if you wish to change your vote during the session, you do so before the voting period times out. Thank you.
Thank you very much, registrars. It is time now to vote for the resolution, and we have 30 seconds to vote. Please vote now. Okay. So voting is over. Registrars, please announce the voting results.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the resolution to receive the consolidated annual reports and accounts, we have a total of 1,712 votes, out of which 1,709 shareholders voted in support of the resolution, representing 12,761,240,345 shares, and 3 shareholders voting against, representing 18.18% of the shareholders and holding 187,185 shares. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, registrars. So following the result of the voting as announced by the registrars, I hereby declare that the resolution to receive the reports of the directors, auditor, external consultants on the board of present and audit committee, together with audited accounts for the financial year ended 31st December 2022, now submitted to this meeting, has been duly carried. We shall now go to the second item on the agenda, which is the declaration of dividend, and I hereby move that a dividend payment in the total sum of 17,947,646,398 naira, which translates to 50 kobo per 50 kobo ordinary share of the company, subject to its holding tax, the dividend payable on Wednesday, August 16, 2023, to members whose names appear in the register of members as at the close of business on August 8, 2023, B, and is hereby approved. Will the shareholder please second the motion?
I, Matthew Akinlade, second that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Akinlade.
Motion.
I now put the motion to the meeting. You have 30 seconds to vote, and please vote now. Voting should be going on. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, the registrars are working on it. They have a little glitch, but the vote is being recorded. Only that it's not shown on the screen, but it will show on the screen very soon. Okay. The voting is going on and it's now on the screen. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the resolution to declare a dividend, we have 1,700 shareholders voting, out of which 1,707 voted in favor of the resolution, representing 99.82% of the shareholders attending and voting, and 3 shareholders voted against, representing 0.18% of the shareholders attending and voting. Thank you.
Thank you, registrars. Now, following the announcement or result of voting, the registrars, I hereby declare that the resolution declare a dividend 1,646,398 naira. 50 ordinary share of the company, August 16, 2023. The members whose names appear in the register of members at the close of business on August 8, 2023 is hereby carried. The next item on the agenda is the appointment of directors. The next resolution is for the appointment of directors in accordance with Section 2731 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act. The appointment of Mr. Oyewale Aribi as an Executive Director, Finance, Investment Oversight and Management has been approved by the Central Bank of Nigeria, while the appointment of Mr. Femi Otedola is subject to the approval of CBN. This resolution is for approval to elect the aforementioned directors to the board of the company. We'll now take their election one after the other. We'll start with the election of Mr. Oyewale Aribi, and I want to call on a shareholder to make.
Mr. Ibrude Moses moved that motion. Ibrude Moses moved that motion. Ibrude Moses.
Okay. Moses, thank you very much. I hereby, will another shareholder please second the motion?
Second the motion. Motion, Patrick Ajudua.
Okay.
Patrick
Thank
Ajudua.
you, Patrick.
Yeah.
Hello, Chairman.
Mr. Adluka, thank you very much. So you have 30 seconds to vote. Please vote now.
No.
Distinguished shareholders, our registrars have a little glitch with their system. You know how these online meetings can be challenging, but they're working on it and they will let us know on the screen very soon. Okay. Okay, the results are not shown. So, Mrs. Registrar, can you announce the results?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the resolution to appoint Mr. Oyewale Samson Aribi as an executive director, we have a total of 1,684 shareholders voting, out of which one.
Okay. Thank you. With the announcement of the results, the appointment of Mr. Oyewale Aribi as the executive director, finance, investment oversight, and management has been approved. Sorry. Oh yeah, following the result of the voting as announced by the registrar, I hereby declare the resolution to elect Mr. Oyewale Aribi as executive director as carried. The next resolution is for the election of Mr. Olufemi Otedola, and I want to call on a shareholder to move as follows. That Olufemi Otedola be elected as a director.
That's on him also. I move that.
Thank you, also. Okay, your name again?
Okay, Mr. Akilade, second the motion.
Okay, Jedima, second the motion. Thank you very much. You have 30 seconds to vote. All shareholders have 30 seconds to vote. Please vote now.
Distinguished shareholders, on the resolution to elect Mr. Olufemi Otedola CON as a non-executive director, we have 1,682 shareholders voting, out of which 1,628 voted in favor of the resolution, representing 96.79% of the votes cast, and 54 shareholders voting against, representing 3.21% of the votes cast. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, registrars. So following the result of voting as announced by the registrars, I hereby declare the resolution to elect Mr. Olufemi Otedola, CON, as a director carried. We shall now proceed to the next item on the agenda, which is the resolution to authorize directors to determine the remuneration of the auditors. Section 4012 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act provides that at any annual general meeting, a retiring auditor, however appointed, shall be reappointed without any resolution being passed. In the light of this provision, the company's auditor, Mrs. KPMG Professional Services, being the retiring auditor, is hereby reappointed without a resolution. By section 4012 and 4018 and 4081B of the Companies and Allied Matters Act, the remuneration of Messrs. KPMG Professional Services as auditors should be fixed by the company at the general meeting. For this resolution, I ask a shareholder formally move as follows: that the remuneration and expenses of the company's Messrs. PMG professionals be fixed by the directors in respect of the period ending at the conclusion of the next annual general meeting. Can a shareholder move?
I move. Comrade Lawrence Ogutoye, hereby move. Comrade Lawrence Ogutoye, hereby move.
Thank you. Can another person? Hello?
Hebrew the Moses. Move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the resolution to authorize the directors to fix the remuneration of the auditor, 1,697 shareholders voted, out of which 1,677 voted in favor of the resolution, representing 9.
Okay, thank you, registrars. So following the announcement of the result of voting by registrars, I hereby declare that the resolution authorizing directors to fix the remuneration of the auditors is hereby carried. The next item on the agenda is the disclosure of remuneration of managers of the company. Section 238 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 provides that at this meeting, the disclosure of remuneration of managers of the company be done. Accordingly, the remuneration of managers is disclosed on page 222 of the annual general meeting of the annual report. As this is for the information of the shareholders. In compliance with section 4043 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, the board of directors of the company has nominated the following directors as members of the audit committee for the period ending at the end of the next annual general meeting. 1, Dr. Sapita Aliogu. 2, Mr. Khalifa Imam. We also received 36 valid nominations from the shareholders, following which 33 have withdrawn, leaving 3 valid nominations. The 3 nominees are 1, Mr. Kashima Otayo, 2, Batalis Ekwem Ayam, and 3, Hawa Sila Umar. And for the sake of clarity, And for the avoidance of doubt, please know that the provisions of the Companies and Allied Matters Act on the right to demand a poll on the election of audit committee members. Section 2493 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act provide as follows. Notwithstanding Section 248 of this Act, subsections 1 and 2 of this section, there shall be no right to demand a poll on the election of members of the audit committee under Section 404 of this Act. In view of the fact that there are 3 valid nominations to fill the vacancies of the position of shareholders and statutory audit committee, there shall be no need for an election. I'll now call on shareholder to propose the following motion. That pursuant to Section 404 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, an audit committee of the company be and is hereby appointed with effect from today, August 15, 2023, till the conclusion of the next annual general meeting. The following are to constitute the membership of the committee. A. Directors, Dr. Fita Aliogo. 2. Mr. Khalifa Imam. And for the shareholders, 1. Mr. Kashima Tayo, FCA. 2. Batilis Ekwem Ayim. And 3. Hawasile Umar, also FCA. So will the shareholder please move the motion?
I move the motion, sir. I move the motion.
Very much. Thank you. Will another second the motion?
Motion. Comrade Lawrence, good to hear about second the motion.
Thank you very much.
I second the motion, sir.
Thank you, Comrade. Thank you. We are going to special business now. So the next item on the agenda is special business with respect to the remuneration of directors. Section 2931 of CAMA 2020 provides that the remuneration of directors is determined by the company in general meeting. As such, remuneration is deemed to accrue from day to day. I want to call on the shareholder to formally move as follows. That the director's fee for the financial year ending 31st December 2023 and for succeeding years until reviewed by the annual general meeting be and is hereby fixed at 50 million for each director and 63,700,000 naira only for the board chairman. So the shareholder move.
I move. I so move. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
Thank you.
Supported by me, Mrs. PC Bakari, I support.
Thank you, Mrs. Bakari. We have 30 seconds to vote for this resolution. Please vote now. Can you announce the results, registrars?
On the resolution, thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the resolution to fix the director's remuneration for the financial year ending 31st December 2023, 1,679 shareholders voted, out of which 1,581 shareholders voted in favor, representing 94.16% of shareholders, and 98 voted against, representing 5.84% of the shareholders. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, registrars. So following the announcement of the result of voting by registrars, I hereby declare the resolution to fix the director's fees for the financial year ending December 31st, 2023, and for succeeding years, and to reviewed by the annual general meeting at 15 million naira only for each director, and 63,700,000 only for the board chairman as carried. We now proceed to the next item of the agenda, which is resolution of the capital raise transaction. So the next item of the agenda is special business in respect of proposal capital raise transaction. To provide background information to this resolution, Section 1271 of CAMA 2020 provides that a company having a share capital may, in general meeting, and not otherwise, increase its issued share capital by the allotment of new shares of such amount as it considers expedient. FBNHoldings flagship business and its precursor, First Bank of Nigeria Limited, First Bank or the bank, established in 1894, is the oldest and the most expansive in terms of size, banking business in Nigeria. The bank is also regulated by CBN. For almost a decade, the bank's capital, as measured by capital adequacy ratio, has been tightly managed, thereby constraining effective competition and stifling business and inhibiting the bank from delivering the expected returns, commensurate with its vast inherent potential. In view of the volatile and complex business environment, a wave of increased regulatory expectations to ensure enhanced capacity for financial institutions to absorb shocks, as encoded in the proposed Basel III Capital Accord, which is expected to increase the required regulatory minimum capital adequacy ratio, it has become expedient and imperative to inject additional share capital into First Bank by FBNHoldings. As is the reason for the proposed capital raise by your company. I will now call on the shareholder to propose the following motions. 8A, that the company's issued share capital be and is hereby increased from 17,947,646,396 naira, made up of 292,792 ordinary shares of 50 kobo each to 22,134,557,995 naira by the creation and addition of up to 8,973,823,198 ordinary shares of 50 kobo each.
I so move, Mr. Chairman.
I so second.
I second the motion.
Thank you very much. That's the respect of A.
Second the motion.
8B.
Yeah.
8B will be that there shall be a capital raise of up to 150 billion naira. The capital raise transaction shall be by way of a rights issue on such terms and conditions and on such dates as may be determined by the directors, subject to obtaining the approvals of the extent of the relevant regulatory authorities. 8C is that the rights issue referred to the resolution B above may be underwritten on such terms as may be determined by the directors, subject to obtaining the approvals of the relevant regulatory authorities. 8D, that any shares not taken up by existing shareholders within the period stipulated under the rights issue may be offered for sale to interested shareholders of the company on such terms and conditions as may be determined by the directors, subject to obtaining the approvals of relevant regulatory authorities. And 8E, that the directors be and are hereby authorized to appoint such professional parties and advisors and perform all such other acts and do all such other things as may be necessary to give effect to the above resolutions, including, without limitation, complying with the directives of any regulatory authority. So can you now move again?
I move the motion. I move the motion. I move the motion.
I second that motion.
I, Matthew Akinlade, move that motion.
Thank you very much for seconding the motion. So you have 30 seconds. All shareholders now have 30 seconds to vote. Please vote now. Okay,
Thank you, Chairman. On the resolution to increase the share capital of a company, 1,700 shareholders voted, out of which 1,679 shareholders voted in favor of the resolution, representing 98.76% of the shareholders and shareholding, and a total of 21 shareholders voted against the resolution, representing 1.24%. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, registrars. So following the announcement of the result of voting by registrars, I hereby declare resolutions 8A to 8E read above as duly carried. The next is special business in respect of the resolution to amend the Memorandum of Association. Section 1278 provides that while a company increases its share capital, it shall be by an ordinary resolution and shall amend its memorandum and articles of association to reflect the new issued share capital. Following the resolution to increase the share capital of the company, there is a consequential need to amend the company's memorandum of association, along with provisions of CAMA. I want to call on a shareholder to formally move as follows: that clause 6 of the memorandum of association of the company be and is hereby amended to reflect the new share capital of 22,434,557,995 naira.
I move, Mr. Chair.
An addition of 8,973,823 and 973,823,198 ordinary shares of 50 kobo each. Can a member move?
I move the motion, Sir Comrade Lawrence. Thank
you very much. Can another
Akinlade second the motion.
Thank you very much, Mr. Akinlade. So can we vote now? We have 30 seconds to vote, and that's all shareholders. Can you announce the results, registrars?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the resolution to amend clause 6 of the Memorandum of Association of the company, 1,702 shareholders voted, out of which 1,684 voted in favor of the resolution, representing 98.94%, and 18 shareholders voted against the resolution, representing 1.06%. Thank you.
Thank you, registrars. So following the announcement of the result of voting Can Dr. Farouk Umar do a closing prayer for us? Okay. Any other shareholder can do a closing prayer for us?
Yes, am I permitted to do that, Comrade Lawrence?
Go ahead, Comrade.
Thank you, sir. We thank God for the successful meeting of FBN Holding. We appreciate God for opportunity given to us to witness this successful meeting. And I pray that the next year celebration will be impressive than the year 2022 financial results. And I pray for the board of directors, managing director, CEO, the entire management, and all them out of this macro economy and difficult terrain we are experiencing in Nigeria. The Lord should grant them the wisdom and understanding to perform exceedingly so as to have the better sustainability and profitability next year. In Jesus' mighty Lord, I pray. Amen.
Thank you. All right. Can we have the national anthem?